And we're live.
Whoever makes Kleenex boxes should be killed.
That's very random.
Yeah, not in context. Because I'm trying to blow my nose and trying to open that fucking box, and it's like trying to pull the first Kleenex out of the box is like trying to solve the Da Vinci Code.
You got issues, dude.
Says you.
If these are the things that you worry about so much, you know, like, no, in case you had any bags.
What's happening, David?
Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, let me bring up mine. Where's where do I have a? Yeah, let's see. Oh, it's stuck on the loop again. That's always the best when it's on the loop. There's only one person watching now. It's gonna be a while before I think we can play this new intro, which
new and improved.
New and improved with a disclaimer now, because you know, funny thing. So now there's nobody watching. Even better. So all of this is falling
even
on
Mark
deaf
dipped out.
Yeah, even Mark was just like, nope, I've had it. So thanks a lot, Mark Varney, our number one. Mark Varney. Who's Mark Varney?
Isn't he the guy from Shrapnel Records? That's Mike Varney.
That's Mike Varney, yeah. Then there's Jim Varney, who is the know what I mean Varney guy.
Yeah, wasn't that Ernest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, that was Ernest.
What beer are you drinking, Mike?
I don't know. It literally has no label. This was left here by the woman I was dating who worked at Mission Brewery, and it was like some sort of secret thing. And so she's like, "Here, I'm bringing you this cool limited stuff." I'm like, "Okay." So every week I'll have one, and this is the last one.
I have to tell you, I played a gig the other day at a brewery, and the beer was fantastic.
Which one?
Witch's Hat Brewery.
I've heard of Witch's Hat.
Yes, it was legit. They had a nice stage set up, good food. It was pleasurable experience.
Pleasurable. Oh wait, there's comments. Let's see. Oh,
It's all
Varney
Mark.
is still here. Okay, yeah. He's saying wrong. I was still here, which he is, and he's the only one. So it's just the three of us right now.
I don't know why that is, because
you know.
I know people were messaging me asking for the link.
Well, here I have somebody who's texting me now. This will be somebody else. Maybe I can get them to watch for 10 minutes. This way we can actually do the intro, because we got to have 3 people for the intro.
Where did you come up with these rules?
I don't know, man. I didn't think 3 was that big of a barrier to cross.
Clearly it is.
Yes. Last week it wasn't, though. Last week was just like, boom, 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 we're there. All right, great. You know, and now this week it's just like, 1, 2, none.
Including Mark.
Including Mark. Well, no, it's not none including Mark. I mean, it's 1 including Mark. Let's see. We have 3. Okay, great. Here we go.
That was fast.
Intro. Cover to Covered is a podcast that features 2 idiots talking about music at length, and occasionally a dog does make an appearance. There will also be special guests from time to time that will show up, and they will be smarter than the hosts. And the hosts will give their opinions. By the way, they are exactly that. Opinions. They're not truths, they are not fallacies, and they do not reflect the views or opinions of their employers or those they employ. So, with that, just enjoy the damn show. Oh, there's 6 people watching now. Holy crap.
I love the hi-hat. Bam.
Well, you got to end the song on a, you got to let people know it's coming. The end's coming.
Very Iron Maiden.
Yeah, well, hey, speaking of, they're part of our lists tonight.
How could they not be?
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to Cover to Cover, to those of you that are watching. Those of you that aren't watching, welcome. Not that you're unwelcome, but you're just listening to it on a podcast after the fact. In fact, most people are not watching or listening to our podcasts, like in the world.
But that's not true because we got a bunch of hits last week. Why don't you talk
90.
about that?
Yeah, we had 90 views for the last episode, which is great considering that we get like 30 to 40 on average. So I'm not sure what we did that was good, but that's still about 7 billion people short of the entire world.
Trust me, I don't think there's even a fraction of a billion people that want to hear anything we've got to say.
They may or may not. I mean, the fact is they haven't heard us. So they don't know. They haven't, I threw some money at this, little bit of promo. So let's see, if we can
Is that why we got the 90 hits?
No, I didn't throw it at that one.
Oh,
okay.
Like,
oh, wait, we're getting traction. I should throw some money at it. All right,
there
so
we go.
did. So anyway, yes, Iron Maiden is part of our deal tonight. This is Cover to Covered. My name is Mike. That is Nick. Nick, what store do you own?
Rock City Music Company.
Where is it?
Livonia, Michigan.
Where can you be found?
RockCityMusicCo.com if you're not in our area, or if you are in our area, 5 Mile in Farmington.
All right, there you go. Go see them.
Yes.
Wait, if you're in Livonia, Michigan, why are you in Farmington?
No, that's the name of the road, dude.
5 Mile Farmington?
5 Mile and Farmington.
I thought you said 5 Mile in Farmington.
No.
I'm like
5 Mile and Farmington.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Although we are located conveniently adjacent to Farmington.
Is it near a deli or a supermarket?
You know it is. You know it is.
I know it is. So this is convenient all the way around. And it's right next to a bar.
Yep, you got it.
Which makes it even better for those of you that wish to get your drink on while you buy your vinyl and or guitar equipment. So make sure you go check out the store. And it's awesome. And check them out online as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here's what we're doing tonight. Tonight's topic is epically long songs. The goal is, in a way, to make... It's not a goal. It's just going to happen. It's going to be the longest playlist with the fewest songs, essentially. The parameters are... Every song had to be at least 6 minutes long, and we went mild on the live songs because live jam type things, I mean, that's like a Grateful Dead album. That would be equivalent of like 3 songs, and the playlist would be 72 hours. And the
Let me ask you something.
What?
Let me ask you something, Mike. What do you think the odds are that there's a Grateful Dead track on my playlist?
I would, if I was taking the bet, I wouldn't because I would lose.
You would.
Exactly. So the odds are somewhere between 99.9 and 100%.
Yep.
That would be, that would be about right. So, that's my guess. But that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. However, before we get there, we're going to talk about some things, reviewing a topic from last week. This seems to be a part 2 now, and it's regarding Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs. Now, last week, we went into detail and conversation about how Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs, also known as MoFi, which is what we're going to probably call it going forward, makes these great repressings of albums that sound impeccable, and their whole thing was that it was purely analog. And oops, they conveniently left out a digital link in this chain, which freaked everybody out. And both Nick and I agreed in the end that while that really sucks, it's good that they're preserving the masters. So that's good. They're actually doing a good thing, and they still sound good. In fact, they sound great. I just bought my first one last week, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, it's really now ruffled a lot more feathers because they were talking about it from this pure analog experience, and it was a lie. It just was. And then Nick found an article earlier this week he sent me, and the headline is MoFi faces fraud lawsuit for selling vinyl reissues as purely analog while using digital masters. That's big.
It can be.
That's big.
It's very arm crossing audio file though.
It very much is. 100%. I agree with you. It's very like, me, I'm a snab.
Yeah. And especially if you read the details of what was in that article, it stated like the person that's bringing the lawsuit, they spent $40 on a Pretenders album, and had they known it wasn't all analog, they wouldn't have paid $40. It's like, I wanted to go, who got a MoFi for $40?
Exactly. I was like, geez, I'll just buy it. Right. I'll just buy it to give it to me for $40. I'll take it off your hands, buddy. And then you're just like, I'm all done. Yeah. Getting a MoFi for $40. Jeez. I thought I scored with the Alan Parsons Project thing I got.
What'd you get that for? 65? 70?
No, $59.99.
There you go. It's not bad.
No, not at all. So, and it was brand new and everything. So, and it was an Ultra Disc half step from what I remember. Or it's a 45.
It's RPM, mastered at 45, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds great. And look, I'm not taking anything away from what they're doing sonically. I don't have a problem with the way anything sounds. I don't feel anything different. I just feel like you shouldn't lie to people.
And again, like I said, maybe I'm trying to find the glass is half full, but it's like they did not say, and they didn't say but you can't, either.
No. Hang on. If you're talking about something being purely analog, your signal chain is purely analog. Not saying that there's a digital link in the chain is a fucking lie.
Right.
It just is. So, whether or not you didn't say it or did say it doesn't matter. You lied. It's not the platform that they built their success on with these audio files. So that's the problem.
Here's where, and this, because I think this calls into question all these high level reissue labels like Analog Productions as well as MoFi, of course. And like, this hasn't been officially announced yet, but it's pretty much confirmed. I saw it on the Steve Hoffman forums. Analog Productions is doing UHQRs, which is basically their version of the MoFi one step of the entire Steely Dan catalog, which is those records have been begging for a audiophile reissue for the last 20 plus years. Yep. So I'm glad somebody's doing it. But I've mentioned on this show a couple of times about the Universal Music warehouse fires where all these artists lost their actual master tapes. And supposedly the Steely Dan master tapes were in there. That was a big reason why they weren't getting these reissues out. Yeah. So that pulls into the arena of like, I don't know how Analog Productions is going to do a fully analog sourced basically one step of those releases without the master tapes. And now everybody's going to pay attention to this because of everybody throwing a fit about MoFi.
Well, then also, with that whole, and that's a whole other conversation, that whole Universal, vault fire, because there were a lot of safeties that were in other places, so if there was a safety made of the 2-track master somewhere on analog tape, they could use that. But that's in most cases it wasn't. They were digital backups, but we don't know that. So.
And that's the thing with MoFi, though, is they would use that original master recordings banner at the top of those releases if their source was the original master tape. So whether that be digitally in the sense of how some of these releases came out and they weren't upfront about that, the source that they're making that product from is from the original master tape. If it says Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, that means they can't prove it's the master tape. So like you're saying, if it's a safety copy or whatever, these Steely Dan reissues would have to be, if MoFi was doing them, they would be presented under the Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab banner, not the original master recordings. Yes, nerdy, but I'm very excited about a Steely Dan one step.
Well, no, that's great. And so am I, for that matter. I mean, if I can get my hands on Asia, like, that's pretty much it. That's all I need. I just need an Asia one step. Thank you. Yep. Especially since now that, I bought that Alan Parsons Eye in the Sky. And it's like, now I need iRobot. Now I need, I'm not even a huge Alan Parsons Project fan, but the dude has a pair of ears that's unmatched except for like Steven Wilson. Yep. And, all the engineering he did, it's not a surprise that the album sounds good to begin with, but it just sounds that much better. So, again, going back to it, I'm not putting down Mobile Fidelity for their sonic quality. It's still superior.
Yes.
It's absolutely superior. But I think that, while I get your points, Nick, but it's still like from a marketing standpoint, it's not, you're not telling the truth.
Yep.
So in the end, it's something that you shouldn't do. You should tell the truth. That's very important, and if your platform is no longer a purely analog platform, let people know that. Let me guess. The next release that's put out where it says DSD in the signal chain, right, is going to sell just as much?
I would hope so. I would hope so.
They're going to sell out of it. So, I mean, just get past it. It's one of those things that you don't want to just keep going back and addressing it because it's just going to, keep bringing up bad feelings. But at the same time, admit it, move on. The class action lawsuit, that's going to drag everything out, and that's not their doing. But they brought it on themselves. So.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know where what the remuneration would be. Was everybody going to get like 10% off the next MoFi? Because, I mean, they're so stupid expensive.
Yep. And it's funny about that guy saying he got that Pretenders one for $40. When I first was buying up the MoFi titles, maybe 10 years ago, when I first really started getting into them, that was the regular price for a single LP MoFi, was $39.99 with a double being $49.99. And now we're at, I think it's $59.99, as you mentioned, for a 2 LP at $45. And I think a single is it's $44.99, $49.99, something like that. But they rarely ever do single LPs at this point. It's pretty much all 2 LP 45. But again, like you said, it's a superior product no matter what. No matter what's in that fucking chain, it sounds better. I don't care what anybody says. You take an original pressing of Eye in the Sky, which sounds great, and you put it next to that MoFi, the MoFi is going to kill it. I promise you.
Speaking of kill.
Are you going to kill Roger?
He's eating a paper towel.
Uh-oh.
Roger! He's like, look. He's just staring at me with the paper towel in his mouth going, yeah, I know I'm doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, sorry,
Screw
Dad.
you, buddy. All right, moving on past that now. And by the way, if you have any questions about anything, please put them in the chat. We're happy to talk about it. And
how about Paul McCartney saying, or more importantly, who made a MoFi of the Pretenders?
Well, MoFi did. So there you go. There's that. I have the ticker going now. So we have our ticker, which is great. I have actually hooked up and now made the info@covertocover.com email address that is functional. Mark, I got all your emails now. We're good. I will address them when I actually have time to read them. But thank you very much for submitting them. Really much appreciated. So, Nick, what are you listening to right now, man?
I've been doing some revisiting. Paul McCartney, who's in this chat, was over this past weekend, and he reminded me he played The Doors' Strange Days, which is a great fucking record.
Is it?
And I have a stereo and a mono copy, so I had to listen to both, figure out which one I liked more, and I think I like the mono more. But great record. I just love The Doors, and I've worn myself out on them a few times, but every couple of years it comes back around. Big fan. Also going back in time for me, back to middle school, which Mike, I think you were about 50 at that point.
Here's a dick. Why don't you suck it?
Green Day, American Idiot. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I was just telling somebody at the shop that I think when that record came out, it was the closest in my lifetime it's ever come to like a big record coming out in the 70s, in the sense of the anticipation, and everybody, whether you were like a jock or a dork or whatever you were, you had that CD. You had that album.
Continue talking about that. I do need to kill my dog.
He's going to kill him, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just watch. Let's watch as Mike reprimands his dog. Looks like a diaper. Is that Mike's diaper? Anyways, as I was saying, it's the only time in my life I think I experienced what it would have been like for a large release coming out back in the day when people still bought physical media by the millions. So,
well, they do again.
Yeah, but not to that level. I mean,
No,
now you
but-
could have a record debut at number 1 selling 150,000 units, where before it used to take like 3 million.
Actually, no, you could be number one with 50,000 units.
Well, there you go. Do you realize at one point Sugar Ray had they debuted at number 2 on the charts and they sold like 2.5 million records in the first week?
That's why they don't got to work.
I mean, think about that.
good
And
for
that wasn't that long ago. That was 20.
No, it was. That was 20-something years ago.
That's not that long though in the big
Yes,
scheme
it
of things.
is.
Nah, I disagree.
All right, in the scheme of like, from the time of dinosaurs till now, yeah. But in the time of like recorded media, 25 years ago, and technology, that's like 10 lifetimes ago.
25 years prior to when that Sugar Ray record came out that I'm talking about would have been 1974.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not that long.
So you're saying I'm young because I was
It's not-
born before 74.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, moving on. Hey, Mike, what are you listening to? I'm sorry,
Yes.
somebody asked what I was listening to? Well,
What are you
okay.
listening to, Mike?
I'm going to listen to my fist hitting Nick in the face soon enough. Actually, I'm listening to his air conditioning unit just like drone, like,
No, it's not on right now.
oh, it just stopped. Yeah, it just stopped. It was on. Something's loud. Anyway, what am I listening to? Well, obviously, I'm listening to Eye in the Sky by Alan Parsons Project right now on MoFi. And again, it sounds amazing. I got it from Music.
Direct.
Thank you.
They're
Couldn't think
MoFi owns them.
of it. Oh, there you go. That's why I got it from them. There you go. They had it. Nobody else did.
Yes.
And it was funny because, like, when you go on eBay, like, I looked on eBay, like, oh, maybe I can get a used one. They're like 70 and 80 and 90 bucks
Yep.
for the same thing that you can get new from Music Direct. Like, okay. Well,
I think a
I'm just
lot
gonna
of
buy
that
the
ha-
new one.
A lot of that has to do with the shipping increases. So like if you're overseas or if you're in Canada, you'll pay $80 for one on eBay because they'll actually ship it to you.
Yeah, well, I live in the U.S.
Yeah, right. You don't have to worry about that. I love
I
Music
don't.
Direct. They do a great job packing their stuff. Fantastic.
They
company.
did. Actually, I have to say, it was, like, impeccably packed. There was also something else I received in the mail. I totally forgot I bought. So Southern Lord Records re-released Goatsnake's first album called One on blue transparent vinyl. And it was insanely cheap, and I think it had to do something with some sort of charity, and there was only like a run of 500, and that was waiting for me when I got back from my trip. And it sounds great. I mean, Goatsnake, if you're into like, Southern Doom type, music, they're awesome because it's Peach Stahl from The Scream and Greg on guitar, who actually owns Southern Lord Records, and Guy from The Obsessed on bass, and I forget who the drummer is. But, I mean, that album is just big and just hairy and heavy.
Yep.
And I saw them play at the Troubadour back in 98. And it was possibly, if not the loudest, one of the loudest shows I've ever seen. And I mean loud.
I have a story about that. I wasn't at the show, but it's legendary in Detroit. They played a club right on Woodward in downtown Detroit. That was, I think it was like an art gallery by day and then a music venue by night. And they fired up and they started playing and they blew all the windows out onto Woodward. It was that loud. I mean, just blew glass.
my God.
Like they hit the first chord and they just blew glass right into the street.
That's
how
amazing.
loud
and that's
they were.
not surprising. That's not surprising. I mean, just the wall of amps that Greg has. And it's just a Les Paul with P90s. And he gets the dirtiest, most evil tone out of that guitar. And when they were recording, their last, I believe it was the last album in 2015 in Nashville. And that was when the company I was working for, I used to rep Nashville for them. I actually got to go to the studio and listen to
sweet.
everything. And I had a conversation with Greg about his rig and everything. I'm like, dude, that's just like the nastiest, gnarliest guitar sound.
And he said,
ever.
what?
Yeah, exactly. But it was kind of cool because Nick Raskulinecz was producing the album, so I got to actually meet and hang out with Nick Raskulinecz as well. Nick is famous for doing the last 2 Rush albums and pretty much all the great Foo Fighter records.
Yep.
And a great guy as well. So, yeah, that's I'm listening to that right now. And I also, and you know this because I sent it to you already, I got another Grail. I was able to finally source and locate an affordable Jellyfish Belly Button LP. And when I tell you that the vinyl is in near mint condition, I am not kidding. It is shiny and clean and doesn't even look played. But just like I got it from Europe, and it's a European pressing, and there's something, and maybe Nick, maybe you can shed some light on this. Why are all European covers whacked?
Yeah.
Like, why are they all creased? Did they just use a thinner cardboard for the pressing of the artwork?
I think that's that's the deal. I mean, I don't know the exact reasoning, but you can almost always tell when you've got one.
Oh, yeah.
When you're flipping through the bin or whatever, instantly you're like, oh, well, this is a European press, specifically German, which I think is what you sent me. That is what that belly button is. Yep. And yeah, but I always find, even though the jackets are a little bit thin, usually the artwork looks really sharp, and that's a really colorful cover.
Yeah, and that color especially is just like bursting with color, and it looks, I mean, it kept all of its resolution as far as the color goes, but I mean, all of my European, and I have a ton of imports, just like every album is just like creased in a corner or took some shelf abuse. It's just so crazy. Like the cardboard is just that much thicker. And I know it's not necessarily cardboard, but for lack of a better term.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Almost for almost the ultimate Grail moment, which if I had this opportunity now, I would own them. But at one point, the master tapes for Belly Button were on eBay, and this was probably, I was young. I was like a teenager, like 16, 17, and I was trying to get them, and I think they didn't sell for much, like in the big picture. It was a lot of money to me when I was 17, but they were maybe like $700.
What?
Yeah, it was
crap.
It was insane.
Yeah, I would have bought them. Jeez.
Yeah, well, I didn't have $700. Might as well have been $3 million when I was 17.
Well, it is now in some ways.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I kick myself in the ass all the time for that, because I could have had the legit Belly Button master tapes that I could have, leased out to Omnivore to do those reissues.
Yeah, right. There you go. Or just did your own.
Yes.
You own them.
Yep.
Just pay the band for the mechanicals and everything's good. Cool. All right. So moving on. Speaking of Jellyfish, there's a new. We talked about this before. There's that 7-inch or 6-7-inch box set should be delivered in the next month.
Yep.
Which would be
fingers
great.
crossed.
Fingers crossed on that one. But speaking of new that's coming out, why don't you tell us about what's new coming out this Friday?
Yes. So we got 2 new albums from one from Muse called Will of the People. It's been a few years since Muse has put out a new record. I always check out what they do. They're always doing something kind of cool that sounds like Queen usually. So I don't know how new it is, but they're always it's always good songs.
Hey, Matt Bellamy is a really cool guitarist, and he's got some really cool guitars, and he's got installed like a. I think he installed a Chaos pad in one of his guitars, so he can get like all sorts of weird noises and such. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They've got that anthemic songwriting down to a T. So
yeah, it's arena. It's big arena. Not, I mean it's rock, but it's not. It's anthemic.
I agree. There's a new record. I don't know how long it's been, but there's a new record coming out from Journey. Excuse me.
I'm thrilled.
No. I actually, apparently they have been writing this over the last couple of years, and I mean Neil Sean, always great guitar playing, always worth hearing.
Is he though?
I love it. I love his guitar playing.
Okay.
You don't?
Journey is one of those bands that should have stopped around 85.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, they certainly haven't done anything that stands up to that, but I still think Neil Sean is a fantastic guitar player.
Okay.
So that's coming out. It's called Freedom. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the Muse is there's 3 variants. There's a black, there's a red, and then there's a colored vinyl indie exclusive mystery color, So we'll find out what that is when somebody buys one and opens it.
Is it a single color or is it like random colors?
They don't specify. My supplier does not specify. It just says mystery vinyl, which, speaking of Jellyfish, when the first Licorice Quartet EP came out, it was on mystery vinyl, and they were all splatter colors, but they were all different.
Nice.
The Slipknot reissue campaign is continuing with We Are Not Your Kind and All Hope Is Gone are coming out this Friday.
Cool.
We Are Not Your Kind is on light blue vinyl, and All Hope Is Gone is on orange vinyl. Both of those, We Are Not Your Kind, it hasn't been gone that long, but long enough to drive the price up, and All Hope Is Gone I don't think ever came out on LP. So
No, I don't think it did either.
And then Marcus King, one of the
Great guitar player.
great guitarist that is out right now, and a fantastic vocalist as well. He has a new record coming out this week called Young Blood. Everything he does has been fantastic. As you mentioned, just the guitar playing alone, it makes it a must own. And it's coinciding with the launch of his very own signature Marcus King Ultra Orange Head. It's the first orange amp ever made in America.
Well, there you go, because they wanted to get out of England.
Yes, for whatever reason. Well, Marcus King's a down-home Southern boy, and that's probably why. But
So they set up a whole factory to build his amps.
well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. Rock City's getting one. You got to be hand selected to get those amps, so I'm pretty stoked.
Somebody selected your hand. That's great.
Yes, and then there's a handful of reissues from Twisted Sister, Grim Reaper, Dokken, Dangerous Toys. If you're into the 80s stuff, you're going to get a bag full of it this weekend.
Hey, speaking of Grim Reaper, cheers to Mr. Steve Grimmett.
Yes, we played a gig with him a couple years ago, and he was a very, very nice guy.
I've heard nothing but great things about him, especially from Nick Bocott, who is an old friend of mine and the lefty guitarist from Grim Reaper, and started that band with Steve. And I know that he was really he put an emotional tribute out on Facebook celebrating his friend. So, and in recent years, Steve fell on some bad times, but supposedly he still kept a really, really good attitude and very positive. So. Rest in peace, Steve Grimmett. And
absolutely.
See you in HE double hockey sticks.
See you in hell.
That's the guy. That's the voice. Cool. All right. Well, that's awesome stuff. Well, how about we get right into it now? It is time.
Let's get right into it. 32 minutes in.
Hey, this is short for us. Usually we're hitting it around 40 or 45 minutes. So a half hour in, we're doing pretty good. And we have 7 viewers.
That's because John and Jeff aren't on here ripping on us.
There's 3 people. I just looked. It'll tell you where people are watching you. And 3 people are actually watching on my own Facebook page. So those of you that are watching on my Facebook page, don't do that. Please come over to YouTube, because that's really the way to watch it. Because, what'll happen is, no offense to Facebook, thank you for helping us to, possibly promote this every once in a while. But what happens, though, is that they actually, oh, wait, I don't want to hear me twice. What they actually do is they just censor you and drive your listings down further in the news feed and all these other things and yada 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 yada. They don't like it very much, so it sucks. And so I put in the Facebook chat on my page, there is the link for the YouTube channel, the YouTube direct link. Please come over to YouTube and hang out with us over here, please. I'm begging you. Also, quick reminder, if this is your first time watching the show, down below, hit like, hit subscribe. And then have them send you alerts.
The bell.
Like when we go live. And the bell. Because here's the deal. We have 34 people that follow us. Oh, I do have to say this. After next week, I think we're going to have a lot more people subscribing. I'm really excited to announce this.
Yeah. Give the announcement. That's right. We almost blew right past it.
We almost blew right past the announcement. So I did mention that we're going to have an announcement this week, and here is the announcement. We are going to have a very special guest next week. we're not just going to have one special guest next week. We're going to have 4. We're going to have 4 special guests next week, and they're all from the same band. And what band are they from? Ladies and gentlemen, we're having an entire Yacht Rock episode next week. The mighty Yachtly crew will be joining us on Cover to Covered live to talk to you about all their awesomeness and yacht rock. And they actually have an original song, and they're actually featured on Sirius XM right now, which is pretty awesome on the Yacht Rock channel. So it's going to be a great episode. We're going to have Philly Ocean, the singer. We're going to have Baba Booey, the bass player. We're going to have Tommy Booey, the guitarist. And we're going to have Sailor Hawkins, the drummer. All 4 of them
all
are supposed to be joining us.
fantastic names.
All fantastic names. And all 4 of them will be joining us. And if you have any questions, submit them, please. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good time.
And what's our topic going to be? Are we just going full yacht rock?
Yacht rock and like Discovered will be yacht rock, and This Song Sucks will be yacht rock, and what we're listening to is, well, it probably won't be yacht rock, but we will have to listen to yacht rock to kind of bone up on the episode. So bone up for the episode. So yeah, see, Dennis Smith has got it right. I love this guy. At least it's not the Grateful Dead. Yes, 100%. Dennis Smith, you win my love and affection. I don't have anything else to give right now. And then also
like Nelson, who Dennis is a big fan of.
Well, there you go. So there it is. It's like they're better than the Grateful Dead. Their careers are dead, but they're better than the Grateful Dead. So anyway, and also sometime in September or October, I think we're going to do a giveaway, which I think will be cool. I have an idea in mind, Nick. I will talk to you about this later. And then we're going to kind of map out what's going to happen for the rest of the year. I was thinking about other playlists. In October, we're going to have like some sort of spooky playlist. So we're going to have a spooky song episode. And then for Christmas, we're going to have Christmas, the ultimate Christmas playlist. But there's nothing for Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving playlist would suck.
We could just do all songs about eating. So it's going to be 98% Weird Al.
Well, actually, all right, so years ago, and I'll touch on this really quick. Years ago on Facebook, I was at my mother's house for Thanksgiving. I'd flown back. And I said, we need to make, like, exactly how I got it started, I don't know. But it turned into, like, taking all Rage Against the Machine lyrics and turning it into Thanksgiving lyrics. So I don't exactly, some of those at workforces, have to eat 4 courses, like just turning it into stupid stuff like that. And it wound up being pretty funny. So maybe we can come up with something for Thanksgiving. Anyway, that's a look at the rest of the year.
Before we get into the topic,
yes,
you were talking about giveaways. Can I plug a giveaway?
Sure. So
Rock City is giving away a pair of tickets to see Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs next week at St. Andrews Hall in Detroit. And they're a band I have been championing on here since day one. And I'm stoked they're finally coming through. They've been touring now on and off for a few years, and they've never come to Detroit. So this is the first time. Thanks to Live Nation for doing the ticket giveaway with us. And, of course, to Mike Campbell. If you're not familiar, you got to check it out. Great, legit, throwdown, bluesy rock and roll. And, of course, Mike Campbell's storied history with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Co-writer on all those great Tom Petty songs. And it's going to be a great show. But if you want to enter to win, you can email us, message us at Rock City, or come on in and fill out a giveaway form. Probably doesn't make any sense if you don't live in our area to enter the giveaway, but fuck it.
I mean, if you want to fly in to Detroit, and was it on Labor Day weekend?
No, it's on it's this upcoming Tuesday, so the 30th, I believe that is.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you're, if you have time on your hands and airline miles and you want to fly into Detroit, do it. Absolutely.
Yes. And the runner-up, I think the runner-up gets a signed LP of the newest Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs albums.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Can I enter?
Yeah.
You're supposed to say no. And I'd be like, oh, shucks. Meanwhile, I'm not going to enter. So, not because I don't like them, but because I don't like them. So anyway, getting into the meat of the matter here. Yes, the name of this episode, topic of this episode is epically long songs. And that's sort of a redundancy in terms, so I hope you got it, because an epic is something that's very long. And the parameters were the song had to be at least 6 minutes long. And we didn't want to really do too much live, again, because you get a jam band doing, like, you could do Mountain Jam by the Allman Brothers. It's like 39,000 minutes, you know.
You do Grateful Dead, Dark Star, any of them. It's all at least a half an hour.
Exactly. So we didn't go that way with it for the most part. I did pick one live song, but it's manageable at about 8.5 minutes. So it's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth as usual. If you have any that you would like to add to this list, please put it in the chat. We'll bring it up. We'll see if we can fit it in there. And again, this is going to be like, probably about 10 songs each with a really long playlist that this is going to make up for, because I think like I have songs ranging anywhere from 6:41 at the shortest to over 20 minutes at the longest. And then, but to kick off though, before we start, I want to talk about a couple of songs that you people may think would make this list, but are actually under the 6 minute limit, and just by that much. Okay. First one was Bohemian Rhapsody. I thought this should maybe belong on the list, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a, great song. It's a long tune, especially for a radio song. That bangs in at 5:55. It is 5 seconds short of the cutoff. Yep. So you were going to put it on your list too, right?
Yep.
Another one, and I know you were going to check this one, Highway Star by Deep Purple. Or did you not want to check that one?
I did want to check it, but
okay.
I had another Purple song that I already had in mind. So
okay. Well, that bangs in at 5:56. So that is not going to be on this list. And the last one that I found that I thought, oh yeah, this would be great, Radar Love by Golden Earring. Also 5:56. So comes in just shy of that 6 minute limit.
Because that one's long.
That one is long, but I mean, it's 5:56. So it's actually not as long as you think. I think maybe it's possible that the White Lion version is a little bit longer. Which that somehow that might make an appearance later in the show. Anyway, Nick, I'm going to let you take the first one here. So what is your first long song that you would like to add to this list?
Okay, so you just brought up Deep Purple, and originally I thought Highway Star, and then I thought Burn, but both of them are under 6 minutes. And then I thought, oh yeah, there's of course one option you have to go with, and that's Child in Time in Rock, which is 8.5 minutes long. Total virtuosic Deep Purple track of the very ballad beginning and how it builds, and then it just goes into chaos for the guitar solo before coming back down. And then of course the screams by Ian Gillan. Absolutely a fantastic song and fantastically long, but completely enjoyable. And I know we didn't go with live versions, but the Made in Japan version's like 14 minutes long. So
Dancing is right again. Dancing in the Dark does seem like it's 15 minutes long. It's like a lifetime.
I just want everybody to know that Dennis Smith is an Ozzy impersonator in a Black Sabbath cover band that throws burgers at people. So
okay, I have no problem with this. I'm going to his next show.
He's actually the best Ozzy I've ever seen. He's definitely better. He's definitely better than the actual Ozzy. That's for sure.
Listen, if he's throwing burgers at people, then he needs to be in Max Sabbath.
Yeah, he does.
Which is probably one of the greatest cover bands ever. All right, my turn. I went with a really, like, one of my longer ones for the first pick. And it's hard for me to not add Tool to a list like this, because pretty much
not me.
Every Tool song is about 97 minutes long. So, and I love Tool. I went with something from Enema, their, real breakout album. And people would normally think, oh, you probably use the song Enema. Well, no, I went with Third Eye. I went way further. This song clocks in at 13 minutes and 46 seconds. And it's awesome because it's got like you were saying, the build. It's got a huge build. and it just ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows. But the thing for me is that Bill Hicks, the comedian, the late comedian Bill Hicks, he was really good friends with Maynard. And if you didn't know, Maynard's the singer of Tool. If you did not know, Maynard James Keenan from Tool started off as a stand-up comedian. He was cutting his teeth, playing the Comedy Store and all those other places in L.A. So he was actually a stand-up comedian. And he was friends with Bill Hicks. And so he put Bill Hicks... They put Bill Hicks in this song, like quotes from some of his comedy routines, and it's hysterical and it works. And there's actually the song on that same album, Eulogy. That song is actually about Bill Hicks. So yeah, I mean, you could tell that there was a tie there, and they put him in this song. And Third Eye, the way the song just kind of ebbs and flows and just keeps building and getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and then brings you back down again, and then heavier and heavier and heavier, and closes out super strong. That's why it's on there. 13 minutes and 46 seconds of prog rock madness.
Wow. I don't know anything about that song. And I certainly didn't think Maynard had a funny bone in his body. He takes himself so seriously.
Have you not read the lyrics to some of the songs?
I do my best to avoid them at all costs.
Listen, you have to at least listen to the album Enema. You have to at least listen to that album.
Does he go, "Yoy" in any of the songs?
Probably.
With a lot of delay on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's like James Hetfield going, "Ooh, wah." You know, it's like his thing. Yeah. You think he goes, and when he gets a header, he's like, "Give me your tray here, bah." You know. Goes to the gas station, fill it up, bah. You know.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me temperature.
Yes, that's what he does. All right, your turn.
All right, so I'm gonna go. My next pick is the longest song I have on my list for sure.
Okay.
And this is by a band where the threshold for us was 6 minutes, and a 6 minute song for this band is considered a short hit song. And that is Dream Theater.
Indeed.
And what I chose was Octavarium, which is from 2005, clocking in at just over 25 minutes long. It has about 14 different parts in it. Movements, yeah. With them, it's movements. It's not parts. But in typical Dream Theater fashion, you know, it goes to a lot of different places. Fantastic drumming by Mike Portnoy, of course, and there's some hilarious like rhyming lyrics. Well, not rhyming. I'm sorry, but how they connect with each other. So like, it says like Wilson Phillips, Owen Wilson Phillips, like I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but great drumming, great guitar playing. Extremely long. I saw Dream Theater play it live once, and it seemed a lot longer than it actually was. But great song.
So you want to subject everybody to this?
Yes.
Got it. All right.
Well, I could have went again with them. It's like there's so many options. I almost went with 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, which is like 45 minutes long, but that's like 7 songs under the one moniker.
Yeah, you know, that was the one thing too, is just kind of fighting through this list. Like, do I pick entire album sides? Like, are they individual songs, or is it one big song? And the thing is, it really is one big song.
Right.
Just that radio took out a portion of it, would make, you know, that part of it, you know, like a single or whatever. So, but no, Octavarium, it's on the list. We got it. For me, my next one, I, again, can't have a list like this without Rush.
Nope.
And I could have picked 18 different songs. Some of them great, some of them not so great. But this one, for me, is great. And it's very, very difficult for me to not do this list without Cygnus X1 from Farewell to Kings. Now, I mentioned this in a previous episode, I think maybe even in the last episode. It was the last episode because that was End in the End. And this song actually ends A Farewell to Kings. This is probably Rush's heaviest prog metal song, if you want to call it that. It really is just like Geddy Lee screams like on no other song, and it is heavy as fuck. It is so heavy, especially like at the end when Neil Peart is like losing his mind on the drums and just everything is just falling apart. It is such a great tune. Now, I'm not going to put this on the playlist, though I might, but honorable mention would be Cygnus X1 Book 2, which is the entire first side of Hemispheres, which is continuing this story. So I may or may not put it on there, as it is, sort of an honorable mention, and it is a whole album side. But Cygnus X1 Book 1 from Farewell to Kings definitely belongs on this list, and it clocks in at an efficient 10 minutes and 26 seconds.
Great RSD release a couple years ago, too, that put both books on one release.
Oh, you mean this one?
That's the one I mean. Although the pressing on that was not good.
You know what? I've heard that, and it sounds good to me. I mean, maybe
mine sounded like shit.
I got a decent one then. Mine sounds pretty clear, pretty articulate, and it's full range. I must have gotten a good one. I don't know.
I loved the idea. I was glad they finally did that, but I wish mine sounded better than it did.
And who is it? Rupert Hyde? Rupert Hyde? Rupert Hyde is the one who did the artwork on that, I believe.
There you go.
So, and he's the guy who did a bunch of their albums too. I think he also produced Presto. I could be wrong. Anyway, continue. Your turn.
Should I go with my Rush pick? Since we're talking about Rush?
Sure.
I mean, you're talking epics. There's only one.
I know where you're going.
I mean, you have to mention it. 2112.
Yeah, exactly. It was on my list too.
A whole album side, again, and if you know the story of Rush, I mean, they laid it all on the line with that. I mean, they were totally taking a huge risk at that point, because people don't realize Rush were like, they had Working Man as a hit, but they had kind of fallen flat. They had their diehard fans and stuff, but the label was getting ready to drop them. And instead of going the commercial route of, you're closer to the hearts and things like that, they said, how about a 20 plus minute full album side that has all these movements in it, and there's a whole 2 minutes where there's just a waterfall going and somebody tuning a guitar.
Well, I mean, the tuning a guitar thing somehow is lost on radio. They don't play that one.
Yeah, good.
But
they're doing us all a favor.
Yeah, but it is funny how that all went down. Like the Caress of Steel came out, and if you watch the Beyond the Lighted Stage documentary, Kiss and Rush toured a lot in the early days, like a lot. And Alex Lifeson was all excited and played the Caress of Steel album for Paul Stanley. And he's just like, I don't get it, man.
Yeah,
I don't get it. And so that, and then they wound up touring with Ted Nugent a lot on that album, and Ted was like on his way down at that point too. He was in a lull, and so they called that tour the Down the Tubes tour.
Yep.
Because they didn't think they were going to make it back. That was it. But you're right. They went and they're like, all right, the record label's like, we need hits. And like, yes, you will have one. And they're like, nah, giving you the middle finger on this. And then boom, out comes 2112. And then they left them alone the record company left them alone forever.
Yep.
So proof is in the pudding. You're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've sold 40 million records. I think you did your job.
Yep. So. I would say so. I love in that documentary too, when Alex tells that story you just did about Paul Stanley saying, yeah, I don't get it, and then it cuts to Geddy Lee and he's like, yeah, I think we were really high when we made that record.
Well, all right. So quick aside. I mean, there's songs on Caress of Steel called I Think I'm Going Bald. Like, why did you think this was a good idea?
But it also has Bastille Day.
It does, but it also has Necromancer. So,
yep.
All that. All right. Next up for me. Another band that pretty much every song exceeds the 6-minute length is Typo Negative. I could have gone with any number of songs from any number of albums, and initially I was going to go with the song World Coming Down from World Coming Down. And I said, you know what? That song is so good and so beautiful, but just so depressing now that Peter's gone, especially because he was, I was working for his management team at that time with Typo Negative's management team, and he was in a bad way. He was like substance abuse hell, and just, that's why he wrote those songs on that album. That album is extremely depressing, but it's very personal in a lot of ways, which is why I love it. But for our purposes, I wanted to give something funnier and happier. well, I don't know how much happier this
Yeah,
is.
there's
but
no happy for typo negative.
Well, this would be sort of the happiest depressing song, I guess. And it's called Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity from their very first album, Slow, Deep, and Hard. Again, clocking in at a manageable 12 minutes and 29 seconds.
Sounds like a real toe tapper.
It's basically 3 songs in one. It opens up with this big thrash kind of thing, it's the first song on the album. So it's them coming out of the Carnivore days, which is very much like a crossover, a hardcore kind of thing. The first song starts off with that kind of Brooklyn hardcore thing. Then it goes to the dirgy part. Then it comes back with this sort of like boppy, upbeat, chorus, which goes, I know you're fucking someone else. And it's hysterical. And the line that's in there that just makes the entire song for me is, where there's a womb, there's a way. With you, it's for free.
Oh, he had a way with words.
He so did. Oh my God. He came up with some great band names. Like, we're sitting around, we're at the where were we? We're at the Rainbow next to the Roxy one night, and it was with a couple of the members of Drain STH. And they were going to do like another project. Now, Drain STH was a band of all women. So Peter was coming up with names for their band. And 2 of the names that were so great, one of them was Replicants. And I can't even remember the other one because Replicant is so good. Oh, no, I remember. Vagiant.
Oh my God.
Peter was a character and a half. And I miss him very, very much. He was a good friend. But anyway, so yeah, that's my pick. At 12 minutes, 29 seconds from Slow, Deep, and Hard, Unsuccessfully Coping with the Natural Beauty of Infidelity.
What a title.
Yes.
All right, I'm looking at my list. Okay, here's another band that you could have went a lot of directions because they got a lot of epics, and that's Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
So I thought, do you go Echoes? Do you go Dogs? Do you go Pigs? But ultimately, I ended on Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
I figured you would because it's 9,000 minutes long.
Well, and it's, the last 2 episodes we did the opening of a record and the closing, and that's one of those ones where it's long together. It's 25 minutes if you put both parts together.
It is,
but it opens and closes Wish You Were Here. So epic and nice roundabout way of tying all these subjects together.
Nice. There you go.
That was a hard pick though, because they have so many great ones.
I probably would have went with Sheep, but just because I like Sheep. But honestly, though, it doesn't keep you interested for the whole song, I guess, per se. Though I like Sheep. Mm-hmm. The song, not actual Sheep. I'm sure actual sheep are fine. I don't have a problem with sheep, but I'm not attracted. Anyway, next up for me, I had to go with Iron Maiden, and guess what song I went with?
Ooh, they're another one. You could have went a lot of ways. Did you go Hallowed Be Thy Name?
No.
Ooh, what'd you go with?
Iron Maiden, if you know anything about Iron Maiden, they'll teach you history. They'll teach you politics. And they'll teach you literature. Specifically poetry. So for me, getting the Power Slave album, I learned about Samuel Taylor Coleridge and Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Oh.
Because bass solo in the middle of it. That's why. And at a slightly unmanageable 13 minutes and 19 seconds, this is how we learn poetry.
And they played it live. Not only was that song long and did it close out that record, but it was part of the set list.
Yes, it was. They did not shy away from it. It was part of it. So I give them credit for that. Yes.
Yeah, but okay, for Iron Maiden, for me, I went with To Tame a Land, which closes out Peace of Mind. Just because it's so moody, I really enjoy that about Iron Maiden is the different feels you get in all those epic tunes, especially the early ones, like you said, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which has the bass solo in the middle. To Tame a Land has that nice build. Revelations I toyed with. of course, Hallowed Be Thy Name. I mean, there's so many. Even Dennis said 2 minutes to midnight. That's over 6 minutes, if you can believe it.
Barely over 6 minutes. It hurdles over. Like right as the doors are closing, it jumps through.
Oh, right. That was 2 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. The all right is what put them over the limit. Otherwise, you're out.
Gold McCartney said Jungle by Kiss is like 6.5 minutes, and he's right. And because I was like, Kiss, this is the first time we're not going to be able to put a Kiss song in this list.
I wouldn't put Jungle on the list.
Why?
Fuck that song. That belongs on This Song Sucks. It doesn't
No
belong
way.
on... Oh, my God. All right, stop it. Just stop it. Led Zeppelin, another band where you can go multiple ways.
Yep.
You know, I'm actually going to change my pick.
Uh-oh.
I was going to go with Kashmir,
Okay.
but I just had a second thought. I'm not as big a fan of Kashmir as I am 10 Years Gone.
Oh, wow.
10 Years Gone is an incredible song that has emotional builds. It's in that kind of minor key sort of thing. It just sounds great. And also, I got to be honest, when the Black Crowes did it with Jimmy Page, that album, you know, Black Crowes and Jimmy Page from the Greek, killed it.
Yep.
Absolutely killed it. Yeah, 10 Years Gone is going to be my pick, my Led Zeppelin pick.
That's a great pick. Zeppelin was another one I had a hard one with. I had a hard time picking one with before I get that twisted up. Because I went, like Dennis just said, Stairway to Heaven. It overplayed, yes, but fucking fantastic. I think that's maybe the greatest rock song of all time.
Could be. And look, I mean, I thought about it too, but at the same time, that would be on everybody's fucking list. And I did not want to put like the typical songs. I mean, yeah, there's a couple, you know, like, all right, look, let's be honest. What could be on everybody's list that would work? Won't Get Fooled Again, Stairway to Heaven, Layla. Boom. All three of those.
I have 2 or 3 of those.
There you go. Those could be on everybody's list. Let's be honest, okay? So that's why they're not on my list. That's why they're not on my list, because those are almost givens. They're sort of like what they would call a put. Like that's just like there. You know, in horse racing they call that chalk. You know, because that's the favorite. That's who's going to win. So, you know, that's the equivalent of what that is. You know, if you look at any top 10 list, it's so funny because Mark Garney actually brought this up. Thank you, Mark, for this tidbit. Like we did that, you know, we did that and in the end, and before that we did in the beginning. In the beginning, there were only like 6 songs that exceeded 6 minutes, but and in the end, there were 13 songs on our list that exceeded it. And that's because like the last songs on any given side of an album was sort of like finish it strong, you know?
Yep.
And so that just sort of makes sense. And then when you look at the top 10 songs, how many of those are like the last song on a side or an album? You know, there's tons of them. You look at that, you look at American Pie, you look at, you know, Won't Get Fooled Again, you look at Layla, you look at all these songs, you know, they're all long.
Yep.
You know, but they're all givens at this point, you know, so that's why I didn't put any of those on my list.
So Zeppelin, what I came around to though, because I did toy with Stairway to Heaven, then I had Dazed and Confused, then I had No Quarter, which is a great one.
Yeah.
Then I went to Achilles' Last Stand, which is a great one, and I ended up not settling on that either. What I picked, and Dennis just mentioned it, In My Time of Dying off Physical Graffiti. Fantastic. Some of the best John Bonham drumming in Led Zeppelin history. People, I know there's a lot of people that say, I don't understand all the hype with John Bonham. Like, there are people that think that he's not that good. If you want to be bitch slapped for saying that, throw on In My Time of Dying, and then you'll understand, because that shit is mind-blowing.
I kind of feel that way about Achilles' Last Stand.
That's, well, yeah, another great example.
Yeah.
But In My Time of Dying is kind of like, it's in the middle of Physical Graffiti, so I think it often gets overlooked. But and the last lyrics Chris Cornell ever sang were the verse from In My Time of Dying.
There you go. Cough. If you know the song, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
All right. Next one, I went a little bit of a different direction. I went stoner rock because almost every stoner rock song is over 6 minutes long. I went with a band called Yob out of Portland, Oregon, from their album The Unreal Never Lived. I went with the opening track called Quantum Mystic. Now, it's almost exactly 13 minutes long. It's 12:59. This thing is just heavy, but it keeps you on your toes. It has sort of like a plodding sort of tempo to it, but they find a way to keep it interesting by just dynamically, alternating between like super fuzz and clean guitar and just stops and starts and noise gates that are clamping down every time they stop playing to have like complete silence. They're like, oh, the song's done. Oh, wait, it's back. It's a long tune with a great build that just keeps you going through the whole song and then finishes big.
I'm completely not familiar with that band.
Well, you're going to have to listen to the playlist. And Yob is pretty awesome. Yob is like, how should I describe it? Don't take it like this because I think they're better than this, but it's like if Megadeth was doom or stoner rock. Because the singer has like a high-pitched voice like Dave Mustaine, but the music is way better than any Metallica, any Megadeth song. So,
wow.
Yeah, like it's just beat you over the head, stoner rock. It's a trio, and they're just stupid awesome. They're so good.
I want to highlight a couple of suggestions from the Peanut Gallery here. Mark Garney, Low Spark of High Heeled Boys, Traffic.
So why don't you take other shit off of my list?
Did you have that on there?
Yes, I do. Let's wait for the Peanut Gallery till we're done.
Okay, I would have never thought you had Traffic on there.
Yes, I do.
Well, talk about it.
Well, it's your turn. I'll do it next.
Okay. So I posed with this album to promote this episode, David Bowie, Station to Station, and I think the title track is one of the finest achievements in the Bowie catalog. Coming in at just under 11 minutes. I think it's like 10:47. I didn't put times down here. I just made sure that they were all over the threshold. But talk about menacing building is fantastic in that. I don't think Bowie even starts singing until about 4 minutes in. He claims when they made that record, he was so high on coke he doesn't even remember recording it. But some great vocal performances from Bowie, one of his best bands. And if you have any of the David Bowie box sets that they've been putting out on LP the last few years, right before he passed, they started releasing them. There's unreleased concerts in every one of them, and the one that comes with the box that has Station to Station in it. The tour used to open with that song, and hearing it in a live setting is so cool. I think it's a great David Bowie moment.
What's the name of the song again?
Station to Station.
Okay. I'm just writing this all down so I don't forget, so I can make the playlist. Who the heck is texting me? Oh, hey. Okay, so my turn.
Yep, you were going to talk about
there
Traffic.
Was this band Traffic. You may have heard of them. Steve Winwood and Dave Mason and Jim Capaldi and et al, if you will. Jim Gordon occasionally. Wow, what a all-star band, right? You just think like, well, with Steve Winwood in the 60s, already you got the voice down, you got the keyboards down. That whole band just kicked all sorts of butt. You're about to say something, I feel.
You don't want to hear what I've got to say.
Why?
You don't want to hear what I've got to say.
What have you got to say?
I hate Steve Winwood.
All right, you're right. I don't want to hear what you have to say. All right. Mind you, I saw Steve Winwood about 5 years ago out here playing concert. Dude was like 71 years old. No bass player on stage. Why? He was playing bass with his feet.
The Hammond playing is fantastic. His voice is like nails on a chalkboard to me.
All right, you need to go to hell. Like you like Jerry Garcia, but you don't like Steve Winwood. One of the most soulful, blue-eyed white boy voices in the world.
Yeah.
No way. All right. But,
I don't know about that.
you just stop it. You're just bad. But yeah, Mark Garney is correct. Low Spark of High Heeled Boys from the album The Low Spark of High Heeled Boys is an incredible tune. Amazing tune. That whole album's great. It's followed up right afterwards with Light Up or Leave Me Alone, which I really love. That's almost like a novelty song by them, sung by somebody else, not named Steve Winwood.
Thank God.
Yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, Low Spark of High Heeled Boys keeps your interest the whole way. It's not a jam song. It's just kind of mellow, but like there's emotional choruses in it. If you haven't heard the song, you need to put this on your playlist. It'll be on our playlist, much to Nick's chagrin. But
it is a good tune. It is a good tune.
Great tune. So actually, that was one of the first songs that actually had electric saxophone on it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was electric saxophone. It wasn't just a mic'd up saxophone. It was actually an electric saxophone. So kind of an interesting.
I dig the vibe of that tune, and I do like Traffic, and I like Blind Faith, but the thing I don't like about Blind Faith is Steve Winwood's nasally voice.
Your turn. I'm not listening to you anymore.
Okay, so I'm going to go with my one live track that I allowed.
Which is?
The live version of Let There Be Rock, AC/DC.
Who?
You know who they are. They sell their shirts at Walmart.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Target. That's
and
right.
Target and Meijer as well. Well, you probably don't have Meijer there.
We don't have Meijer here, but I know what Meijer is.
Yes. So the live version of Let There Be Rock coming in just over 8 minutes. Total Angus Young throwdown. And I'm talking about the one off the movie soundtrack of Let There Be Rock with Bon. Not the Brian Johnson Donington one. Let There Be Rock movie, Paris, France, 1979. Fucking throwdown, AC/DC killing it. Angus Young rolling around on the floor, all that. The whole shebang.
Nice.
And lyrically, one of my favorite Bon Scott songs. Not my favorite. My favorite Bon Scott song lyrically is Touch Too Much.
Highway to Hell still.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. This took a little work, but I found a couple of Beatles songs that were over 6 minutes long. Difficult to do.
Yes.
But in keeping with my whole dark brooding stoner rock thing, let's talk about the one song that probably started stoner rock, and that's I Want You, She's So Heavy from Abbey Road.
What a mean riff.
Oh my God. It's just so great. But the way it builds at the end of the song when they have like 42 different guitar tracks and all that noise underneath it, the static underneath it.
Yeah, the wind.
It's just completely chaotic and heavy as all get out. Now, as an alternative, if you get a chance, on that same World Coming Down album by Typo Negative, they actually do 3 Beatles songs, and we talked about this before. It's Day Tripper, If I Needed Someone, and then it ends with She's So Heavy. Not I Want You, She's So Heavy, just literally the She's So Heavy part at the end. And every time they go around the 16 bars, it slows down again by like 10 beats per minute. By the time you get to the end of it, it's like 30 beats per minute total. And it's like so slow. You're like, get a sandwich, another note is hit, get a sandwich again, another note is hit. Yeah, it's awesome. But that really was I want to call it the first stoner rock song.
I agree. It's another example of the Beatles doing something before anybody else did. Yeah. And I know there's Blue Cheer and all that, but Blue Cheer was not playing that sludgy, slow heaviness that didn't happen.
Not like that.
No.
That was like the song that like if you were like 16 and you brought home that Beatles album, your parents like, a new Beatles album, let me hear it. She's so, like, and they're like, you're not allowed to listen to that anymore. That's satanic. That's, that's totally what it was. So yeah, that's my choice. You're up.
All right. Going with a Detroit hero in Alice Cooper.
Never heard
Ballad of Dwight Fry from Love It to Death.
Ballad of Dwight Fry.
Yeah. Right. Are you familiar?
I am not.
What?
I might be, but I don't know it by title.
So some people don't know it by title, like you just said. That's the song they put Alice in the Straight Jacket in when you see them live.
Oh, okay.
I gotta get out of here. That song, just so ominous and fantastic. Alice theatrics coming through even on vinyl on what I think is his best record, which is Love It to Death.
I'm telling somebody else to watch me.
Look, Mark Garney said, "Mommy, where's Daddy?" That's how it starts. There you go.
What's that?
That's how Ballad of Dwight Fry starts.
Mommy, what?
Where's Daddy?
Oh, that's let's see, share, and then copy, and then send.
Everybody pause while Mike answers an email.
Yeah, well, no, it's not an email; it's text. Look, we have. We have like a full 34 subscribers. So I can only get more subscribers by like talking to people I know and getting them to, watch us and laugh.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're watching and they're laughing.
Hopefully they will soon. And hopefully it's not at our faces, which are very easy to laugh at. Let's look at all this. Look at all this right here. Look at all. Yeah. This is easy to laugh at. Okay. So, moving on. That's right, Roger. Roger's below me going, The Who. We've heard of them. There were more songs to pick from The Who than you might imagine. But I did not go with the easy ones. And in fact, this is my live track. All right. I went with From the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. A quick one while he's away.
Love it.
Clocks in at 7 minutes and 47 seconds. I'm sorry, 7 minutes and 32 seconds. And why? Because it's better than the one that's on the original album.
Much so.
Yeah, that's just the raw power of The Who. No overdubs, no nothing. It's not clean. It's just dirty, raw, and on point, which is why I really dig that one.
I agree.
I know you're a fan of that song, too.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. And that is the definitive performance of it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, 100%.
Keith Moon throwing his floor tom in the middle of it.
And still playing.
Yes.
Still killing it. So, all right, you're up.
Ooh, where do I go from there? Okay, how about this was another band that had about 5 or 6 choices you could have went with, and that's The Doors. What I chose, because I thought maybe Riders on the Storm, maybe The End, but I picked When the Music's Over, which I love off of Strange Days. Another meandering Doors organ solo melody thing happening, but Jim just being totally scary at the end of that. And I thought, like how you were saying, Mike, about Won't Get Fooled Again and Layla, I thought Riders on the Storm is such a generic choice because originally I was going to pick that, but I'm going to pick When the Music's Over instead.
Yeah, going with something that's a little bit off the beaten path, though all the Doors songs kind of suck.
How you live in California, don't they it's like Bob Seger here. Aren't you just supposed to like the Doors?
I'm counter to counterculture.
Yeah, right. And you're from New York, where they like New York, exactly. Where they like Bruce Springsteen.
No, that's New Jersey, dick. We have Billy Joel. Because I'm from Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. All right. I'll put it on the list. Doors. When the Music's Over. When the Music's Over. I mean, there is some really good, Jim Morrison screaming in that song, that kind of goes along with it. And I do understand it. It does have those sort of like builds and drops and builds and drops.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I'll give him a little credit for that. For me, though, I went with an instrumental for my next one. Now, that's dangerous. It's dangerous to pick an instrumental. It's even more dangerous not to pick an instrumental by Rush, which this is not. But I went with a great instrumental. Something very, very cool. Precursor to a lot that came after it as far as instrumentals. And I went with Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, come on, you need to have that song in there. And I mean, who does like some sort of like, like Norwegian meets Irish scat in the middle of a song and
Yodeling.
yodeling and flute and just everything else that goes along with it. And then they would play it live and they would play it even faster.
Like 3 times faster.
It's like way faster live, and it's awesome live. But I went with the regular record version because the live versions wind up being shorter than 6 minutes because I think they were all fully on coke and just like blasting through the song. But yeah, we went with I went with the album version of Hocus Pocus by Focus from the album. I believe it's called Hocus Pocus, which is 6 minutes. No, it's not.
It's called Making Waves.
You're right, and it's 6 minutes and 41 seconds. Your turn.
How many more are we doing?
I don't know. I got. I literally have none left because you took one of mine and Mark Garney preempted one of mine. So, but I'm sure I can think of one more.
All right. So am I my last one?
No, you got this one, then I'll do one, then you do one.
Okay, all right. So another band known for its epics is Yes.
Indeed.
And there was a lot of ways to go with this. I thought maybe Close to the Edge, Heart of the Sunrise is a great one off Fragile. But ultimately, I picked one of the most underappreciated songs in the Yes canon and one of the most underappreciated records of all time, and that is Machine Messiah, which opens the Yes album Drama. Fucking crushing. Mike, you're talking about bands that aren't normally heavy. The main riff of Machine Messiah must be heard. You would never believe it was Yes.
I don't believe it.
10.5 minutes. Fucking pure bliss. No John Anderson on this. Yes, this is when they had Trevor Horn singing. But that record front to back is amazing. It's a masterpiece. But the opening track, Machine Messiah, is the greatest Yes epic. And shout out to my buddy Preston from Blackberry Smoke, who, when I told him that, said, I don't think I've ever met anybody whose favorite Yes album is Drama.
I don't think Yes knows anybody whose favorite Yes album is Drama.
I'm telling you, pick it up. It's amazing.
You know what? I'm going to listen to it. It's
you won't believe it's Yes, dude.
But, well, I will because it'll say it's Yes.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And finding the answers to yes.
All right, I'm going to go with, you know what, because I had to think of another one. I'm going to go with the Yes song because you brought it up. You have one more after me. But I'm going to go with the Yes song, and I'm going to go with It's Your Move, All Good People. Because that's probably the most uplifting Yes song there is. Like, everything else is very, like, hard prog. It's still a prog tune, but it's more like spiritual, I think, as a song goes. And, the chorus, when it gets to the whole, like, all good people portion of it, is really kind of fun. And again, it has that sort of bounce to it. So it takes you from like that heavy acoustic portion of It's Your Move and then kind of elevates the rest of the song. It doubles in time, so on and so forth. And live, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going with I have to see if the live version exceeds 6 minutes. I'm pretty sure it does because it's a Yes song, and it's live.
The only short songs they have are those throwaway fucking Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe noodling bullshit that they put in between the songs.
Indeed. So I'm throwing that on there.
Nice.
You got one more.
All right, my closer. I saw it mentioned in the comments. The most epic track of all time. Blood of the Kings by Manowar. Closing out Kings of Metal.
Oh my God.
The most ridiculous ending of all time. It must be heard to be believed that it's real.
The most ridiculous ending is the ending of the Black Wind Fire and Steel.
No, Blood of the Kings is better.
I disagree.
There's nothing more metal. There's nothing more heroic. There's nothing more meaningful than the end of Blood of the Kings by the true metal gods Manowar.
Oh my God. Oh, Paul McCartney's speaking up here. Any song off your favorite album, Tales from Topographic Oceans, which is a double LP and has like 3 songs.
4.
Oh, it's 4? Okay.
It's one song per
side?
album side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Blood of the Kings. That's the way to take it home. That's the one you took it home on.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Blood of the Kings. And I had a lot of good ones, like fucking In the Court of the Crimson King. That's pretty good.
You didn't pick that over Blood of the Kings?
Victim of Changes, Judas Priest, Sign of the Southern Cross. The other one by the Grateful Dead.
Listen. Just
Purple Rain.
That would have been a way better pick than...
No, Blood of the Kings, man.
No wonder why we have no subscribers. Your taste is squarely in your mouth. All right. That is done, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have our next 2 segments here, and then we're going to call it a day. Hopefully get out of here before 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is going to be a short show for us. Which, by the way, I've been listening to a couple of other podcasts. There's these 2 guys from Canada that do these like album review podcasts, and they exceed 3.5 hours.
That's a lot.
Every episode, I'm like, guys, like you're longer than what was that? What was that Scorsese film?
The Irishman.
Yeah, if your podcast is longer than The Irishman, we have problems.
The Irishman's a masterpiece, though.
It is, but that's a visual thing. Who wants to listen to 2 Canucks talk for 3.5 hours about the White Album? Not me. Anyway. All right, so before we close this out, though, there are a couple of albums that I picked out, a couple of songs that I picked out that should never have been this long to begin with. One is over a half hour, one is over an hour. Now, somebody mentioned one of them in the chat, and that's Dope Smoker. Dope Smoker by the band Sleep. Dope Smoker is so long it takes up 3 sides of a double LP. And it's boring. It's full-on stoner rock. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a masterpiece if you sit with a red light on, a lava lamp, and a whole bunch of weed.
But anything's a masterpiece with that going on.
I guess, but it doesn't need to be an hour and 3 minutes long.
I like how they had to get that extra 3 minutes in there. The hour wasn't enough.
The hour wasn't enough. Nope. So, and look, I own the album. I
Recently reissued by Third Man. Is that the 4 LP version?
No, this is the 2 LP version. This is the Southern Lord version that was done on Cornetto green and vinyl. So with the holographic cover. So that's why I've never opened it.
Coming this week, I believe it's either this week or next week. If you are local to Detroit, you can go to Third Man Records Cast Corridor and you can buy the new reissue of Sleep Dope Smoker done by Third Man with pot leaves actually pressed into the vinyl.
Could you get me one?
I don't know if I'm going down there for that.
Ah, Jesus.
Although it might be easy to get because everybody that's going to want one's going to miss their alarm and fucking not go get it until 3 o'clock.
Dude, they still have them at 5.
Can I get 3 of them? I like how my impression was Bob Tyrell.
I totally thought that.
Hey, you guys want a beer?
Your stoned Detroiter is Bob Tyrell.
You guys want a beer?
I don't know. What?
I don't know, bro.
Maria! We need to have Bob on. Is Bob coming on September 7th? We need Bob on.
You know how it is.
He just got back from Germany like 2 days ago. So
and he's been to a concert every night since he got back.
Because he doesn't know any better. Because he goes to bed at like 2 a.m. 4
2 a.m.? Yeah, I was going to say like 6 a.m. Usually the sun's going up.
Dude, I got up late. What time is it? It's 2 p.m. Oh,
I've been up all night drinking like maybe 10 times in my life, and 8 of them Bob was there.
Yeah, I can't do what he does. I definitely can't, not, especially not at my age, but he's used to it. And he's like 8 years older than me. All right, so anyway, the other one was a song by Monster Magnet called Tab, off an album called 25 ... Tab.
Tab.
And Tab is about a half hour long. It's 32 minutes long. Takes up a full album side plus. And it's what they would play when Dave Windorf, the singer, didn't make it to the show. That's happened more than once.
You would know, right, Mike?
What's that?
about that happening.
It wasn't during my tenure.
Oh, okay.
No, this is prior, when he was really on some heavy duty drugs. But yeah, that's what they would do. Like Dave wasn't around, great, so they would just play tab. Or Dave was there and he was just angry, so he would just play tab. And it's the same riff over and 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 over again for a half hour. Except they modulated up a half step and then back down occasionally. There's no words.
Yeah, sounds great.
Words. But again, red light, lava lamp, bunch of weed. You love it. All right, moving on. Discovered and This Song Sucks, our final two segments, our standard segments, which everybody does love and embrace. Discovered being a discussion about a covered song that we like as much, if not more than the original, and This Song Sucks, which is great band, shitty song. So,
great band or artist.
Or artist, yeah. Well, not painter.
Yeah. Not Bob Ross.
Yeah, not Bob Ross. I'm sure he made some shitty songs. In fact, I'm sure all of Bob Ross's songs were shitty.
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't heard a Bob Ross song. But anyway, why don't you go first on Discovered?
I'm going first.
You want me to go first?
You go first.
I'll go first. Discovered, starring Mike Venezia. I am going to go, and I mentioned it earlier. I leaned towards it earlier as White Lion's version of Radar Love. I
thought you were going with that for This Song Sucks.
No, not at all. I have a better one that you'll like. But I like their version of Radar Love a lot. I think it's pretty badass, actually, and I love the drumming in it. And Vito Bratta, make fun of him all you want for playing all the headless Steinberger guitars ever made. He was a really good guitar player.
Yeah, he was. He was the
Amazing
saving grace
player.
of White Lion.
Absolutely, yeah. And James Lomenzo on bass, too. I mean, great bass player. But, yeah, you know, that version of Radar Love was actually really, 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 really good. Mike Tramp's vocals notwithstanding. The musically, I thought it was just dead on. I love like Vito Bratta's little touches in between the verses and in between the lines and in the chorus and such. Really, really cool. So that would be my pick for this week is White Lion's version of Radar Love off of
Big Game.
Big Game. Thank you. I was going to say Main Event, but it wasn't that one. It was Big Game. Yep.
I feel ashamed that I knew that.
The fact that you knew it and you don't like it, you just bite me.
Was that the only hit off Big Game? Was their cover of
Little Fighter, I think, was on there.
Oh yeah, Little Fighter. Oh God. The Dennis Smith, Jerry Garcia started White Lion. Imagine Jerry Garcia doing Wait.
I can't even do an impression of that.
Wait. Never had a chance to love you.
Never had a chance to love you.
Well, that's more Bob Weir. You're doing the lower.
Sorry,
Jerry had the higher voice.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Wait. I never had a chance to love you.
Do.
It would be something like that, probably.
And then Bob would come in, Sugar Magnolia. Start singing another song. My pick for Discovered this week is a great cover of I Got a Line on You by Spirit by Alice Cooper.
Oh, nice.
I heard it earlier this week and forgot about it. It was on the Iron Eagle 2 soundtrack, if you remember that fantastic film, Mike.
Oh, yes, that is cinematic brilliance.
Yeah, they
not
got
the
it.
first one. Not the first one. The second one.
Yeah, they got it on 4K Criterion. It's such a great movie. But the soundtrack's good, and it features this fantastic cover of I Got a Line on You, which is a killer kind of deep-cut rock tune, and a great version done by Alice.
No, that's awesome. I did not know that existed. So
yes, good one.
Well, nice. Well, now we're up to This Song Sucks.
Yep.
This song sucks.
We need an intro for This Song Sucks.
I have one that it's written. Shut up.
Roger's going to sing on it.
Yeah, he's going. Oh, here's the intro to This Song Sucks.
Never gets old.
And then this. Yeah. So yeah, come on. You can't tell me the scream is not the most appropriate thing for this song sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
For the uninitiated, This Song Sucks is basically the segment where we talk about a great band that made a shitty song. And that's because not every one is a hit. They're just not. And so we have some regulars that keep making appearances like Rush, unfortunately, and Kiss, whatever. And the Steve Miller Band. Best band ever.
Ugh. Did you notice how I didn't even grace your photo with a response?
But I noticed how Pete was just like, ah!
Yep.
Yeah. So Steve Miller Band, Nick does not like the Steve Miller Band. He's gave them a bad Yelp review, if you will.
I hate them.
And there's a big, like 5 minutes away from where I live, big billboard saying like playing at Paula Casino, Steve Miller Band, whatever. I'm like, oh, you want to go, buddy? Come on, let's go.
There's only, I let everybody play whatever they want in Rock City. All the employees get to play whatever they want, but there is a long-standing rule that no Steve Miller is tolerated in my building.
Well, that's fair. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to get on to the Steve Miller section of this this program. And what is your song that sucks this week?
Okay, This Song Sucks for this week. I mentioned this artist earlier in the show being a native Detroiter. Mm-hmm. It's put into your DNA to love Bob Seger, and I do love Bob Seger. I think Bob Seger's got some fantastic songs. Great live record, of course, Live Bullet, Unstoppable. But there's one giant, terrible turd in the Bob Seger catalog.
Which is?
Old Time Rock and Roll. One of the worst songs ever. What a terrible song. First off,
I don't get you, man.
First off, the guitar playing. It's got to be Seeger playing guitar. Like I mentioned with Get Over It, it's like, I don't know how you could have session guys from Muscle Shoals at your fingertips and you're getting that guitar solo. Especially when it goes, don't want to hear him play a tango. And it goes, nee. It's like not even in key. You know the part I'm talking about.
I know the part you're talking about. I know
It's
the
awful.
song backwards and forwards.
It's awful.
Am I a huge fan of the song? No. Does it suck? No.
That's a terrible song.
No.
One line I will agree with is there's only one sure way to get me to go, and that's to play Old Time Rock and Roll. I will leave immediately if that song comes on.
You are just a fucking dipshit.
That song sucks.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't.
You're cranking it up in your Kia or whatever you're driving, Mike.
Dude, I run around in my white fucking skivvies and my socks and my button-down shirt, and I slide into my kitchen, and Roger's just like, what up? And I'm wearing my sunglasses. I'm all Tom Cruise on him. And
That's another reason to hate it.
Dung, 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 dung. Slide
Yeah. Okay, that's another thing. I'm glad you just reminded me of that. As soon as you hear that piano start, you know that song's going to suck. Put Paul McCartney's comment up. Put the old record back on the shelf. Fantastic.
It's literal garbage. Yeah, there we go. Dennis has it right. Springsteen wrote that song.
No, he didn't, luckily.
Yeah, he did.
He's got some bad songs, but he didn't write that one.
Yeah, he wrote that one. All right, he didn't write that one, but still. Anything to hurt you after that nonsense.
That song blows.
Right,
come on, whatever. Mark Garney and Pat Middlestat. You guys better agree on that one.
No, don't agree with him. Just don't. Go find another store to shop at. Chef!
No.
So, my song this week, you'll appreciate it, because I know how much you love Black Sabbath with Ozzy.
Oh, great.
But
let me guess, are you gonna pick like NIB or Supernaut or any of those other overrated songs?
No, NIB is great. Supernaut is great. I'm picking a song that should be shot. If it were an animal, I would say it has a broken leg. It needs to die. And that's off Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I went with Looking for Today. That song does not belong with anything else on that album. There's way too much tambourine and snare playing by Bill Ward, and that's it. And then the whole chorus is Ozzy screaming, "Looking for today," over and 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 over again. Like, wow, cut back on the cocaine, guys. Like, let's write a full song. Let's write a whole song. And it's just like way too happy. Like way too happy a tune. Like, that's not Black Sabbath in my mind. It's just like, it was like pop, and it was bad pop at that. And it's like, it's sort of like the same feeling I get when I hear Heaven Can Wait. Heaven Can Wait by Iron Maiden, you know, Heaven Can Wait. Heaven can wait. It's just, shut up.
Sounds just like him.
Exactly. So, but it's the same kind of thing. So
Looking for Today is garbage.
It is garbage. Like, that song, just, if that was left off the album, my listening habits of that album would not change because I always skip it. So.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
You know who hasn't made an appearance this episode is Gene Simmons.
You know, the thing about it is,
I have to say, Ozzy Osbourne singing on that song does not in any way touch the quality that we put on every single Kiss album. You can buy all the
Nick?
Kiss albums, kiss.com, $100. We charge you for shipping and double the tax.
Nick and Mike are always doing this segment, This Song Sucks. You will never hear a Kiss song on This Song Sucks. But you know why? Because no Kiss songs suck.
Every single song we ever wrote was all killer and no filler. In fact, everything from The Elder was the best we've ever made a song sound.
There's that.
The
All right.
Oath.
The Oath is the best song ever written, along with I. Both of those songs, basically, Nick, I don't understand how you do not feel that this is the crowning achievement in Kiss's discography.
I'd like to
put
know.
you in the Kiss coffin.
I'd like to know what Gene thinks is the crowning achievement in their catalog. You know, if I had to pick just one Kiss song, I would probably pick Christine 16.
Any song that has to do with pedophilia is right up my alley.
Okay, that's it. We're done. We're getting stupid here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. I am Mike. That is Nick. Remember, next week, special guests, Yachtly Crew will be joining us for an entire Yacht Rock themed episode. I'd say it's going to be exciting, but it's Yacht Rock, so it's not really exciting. In fact, it's quite safe.
We'll be sailing.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be talking about Christopher Cross. We're going to talk about Boz Scaggs. We're going to talk about all these bands. But also, there's one thing you got to know about Yacht Rock, man, and that is it's made such a huge comeback. It's like the it thing right now. And these guys who are great musicians, by the way, and let's give a little credit to Yacht Rock musicians. I mean, Boz Scaggs, Steely Dan, like all those musicians are
Michael
amazing.
McDonald.
That like all of them are just like amazing musicians, right? So everybody in those bands, like they had to be at the top of their game, and these guys play all of their hits all in one night. So you know about the musicianship in these bands; it's top notch. So these guys are selling out 3,000, 4,000 seaters, full crowds all the time. They're about to. I can't announce it because they're going to probably announce it, but they may have a residency. I think they do have a residency starting in a city that rhymes with Las Vegas.
Whoa, gee, I wonder where that could be, Mike.
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows?
As long as it's not Mas Tequila.
No, it is not at Mas Tequila down in Cabo. But anyway, that's kind of cool. So, I mean, it's going to be good to have those guys on, and they have a huge following, and hopefully they'll all join us and become one of the, part of the big Cover to Covered family. I might wear an ascot next week, and you should wear a smoking jacket yourself. And
I'll definitely have a sailor hat on.
But join us next week for that. That's going to be right at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. In the meantime, I'm going to put this playlist together. It should be up in the next 24 to 48 hours. You can find this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts within the hour once we're done here. Make sure you check it out if you want to download it and listen to it again. In the meantime, I'm Mike. That is Nick. Nick, what's the name of your store?
Rock City Music Company.
Oh, really now? And exactly where is your store located?
Livonia, Michigan.
And
5 Mile and Farmington.
Yeah,
and
not in Farmington.
Yes, and you can find us at rockcitymusicco.com.
Well, there you go. And thank you all for dealing with us. And remember, sue MoFi. Get yourself on the list for the class action lawsuit and get a free copy of Thriller or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go. What other comments? Oh, thank you, Mark Garney. We really appreciate you. If there's anything else you need from us, make sure you check us out on here. Again, subscribe and all that other fun stuff.
Mark got your message. I'll get back at you tomorrow.
And now we got to wait another 25 seconds for the song to end.
How about every song smashes, every song thrashes, and every song hits?
What?
Look at the comment from Gall McCartney. It's referring to Gene Simmons.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
Every song smashes.
I'm not doing it now. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.